where there's smoke, there's fire. So in barely a week, I think a little over a week, maybe 8 or 9 days, three key HSBC Bank executives are now out of the company. Two of the three were basically in charge of the China banking division and the Asia banking division, which HSBC, according to their website, boasts that the China banking division is HSBC Bank's most profitable division. So there's two competing theories about this. First of all, before I talk about the theories, let me give you a little background on HSBC Bank if you're not familiar. This is going to be a very short update show talking about the theories, and you can comment below the video if you miss the live chat later. So HSBC Bank is short for Hong Kong Shanghai Bank. It has a very long and unique relationship with China, and HSBC is integrated into or it used to be at least integrated into the Chinese community. I believe Peking University in Beijing, their business school, is sponsored by HSBC Bank. So it's very serious with that. So in just the last a little over a week, barely over a week, we have the former CEO of HSBC Bank. He was only there 18 months. His name was John Flint, and he actually produced record profits. So the bank actually beat earnings expectations recently, and yet he's gone. If you want to read more about that, the HSBC Bank is going to be cutting, I think, 4,000 workers in addition. But the other departures are, let me have her pull it up here with the article. Helen Wang, HSBC Holdings Greater China Chief Executive Helen Wang is leaving, a bank spokesman said on Friday. The senior second departure this week after the ousting of CEO John Flint. Wang has decided to leave to pursue an external opportunity, the spokeswoman said, adding that her role will be dropped and the Greater China region, which includes Hong Kong and Taiwan, would be run by the respective country heads. Greater China is HSBC's biggest profit driver, but the banking sector outlook in the region has been clouded by the tit-for-tat tariff war between China and the United States, as well as unrest in Hong Kong. Flint and Wang's exit also follows weeks of adverse China media coverage over HSBC's role in the arrest of Huawei finance chief Meng Wanzhou, if I pronounce that correctly. Wang, who joined HSBC in 1992 and rose to become its China CEO before being given the newly created role of Greater China Chief in 2015, did not immediately respond to a request for comment sent to her official email. The HSBC spokeswoman said Wang's resignation was submitted at the end of July, and there was no connection between her decision and Flint's departure. So this is funny. The third ousting that Kyle Bass just posted on his Twitter earlier today was Mark McEwen, I think I pronounced that correctly, Chief Risk Officer in Asia Pacific, is set to retire by the end of the year, and will be succeeded by Ed Jenkins effective September. The spokesman of HSBC Holdings said McEwen's retirement plan has been made known to the bank in April, and hence it is unrelated to the resignations of Helen Wang and John Flint. So do you actually believe the bank? Do you believe the bank is telling the truth? Now, let me get into the two competing theories here. So there's two competing theories. One of the theories is the first theory that was mentioned in the article was that the Chinese government is extremely angry with Huawei. The Chinese government is extremely angry with HSBC over their role in getting the CFO of Huawei arrested in Canada. So they testified and provided evidence to that, and that is creating a mess there. So HSBC's once positive role in China has been now looked at as very, very negative because China's trying to get 5G contracts all over the globe, and what HSBC did, either handing over evidence and or testifying about some of Huawei's business practices, did not help HSBC in the eyes of China. That is one theory. Theory number one. And I've heard a number of people who think that that's the main problem with HSBC and that the hammer could drop on HSBC Bank from the Chinese government. Theory number two is different. Theory number two is Kyle Bass's theory. Kyle Bass's theory is that this is all related to the People's Bank of China borrowing hundreds of billions of dollars from HSBC Bank in dollars because the People's Bank of China has a dollar shortage, and that the Bank of England intervened. The Bank of England did not want to bail out HSBC Bank because HSBC Bank's original roots, besides doing a lot of business in China, is also from London. And so now the HSBC Bank, even though they were profitable this past quarter, they have a lot more risk on their balance sheet. So yes, they could make a lot of profits if they did. And it's still a rumor for now. I've heard some people try to say that it's confirmed that they spoke to sources. I'm still waiting on the People's Bank of China HSBC rumors. I'm waiting for journalists to actually publish articles and say that. So I'm just going to say it's a rumor for now. But Kyle Bass has been tweeting a lot about this. I'll read some of his tweets. So he tweeted that, okay. Okay, here's one of his tweets. Trouble brewing at HSBC. Remember, HSBC Hong Kong is ring-fenced and is bankruptcy remote. UK regulators aren't going to bail out this leverage bomb. Depositors in Hong Kong better pay attention, better convert deposits to US dollars and wire them to an institution with a real backstop. And then that was a couple days ago. And then I think he just tweeted again today. Let me pull up the tweet. Something's very Wong. I guess he's trying to be funny because that was, remember, Helen Wong, the Greater China Chief Executive Helen Wong. So he put her last name in the tweet. Wong at HSBC, Chief Risk Officer for Asia Pacific, is also to retire. So we have the CEO, the China Chief, and the CRO. If you're not familiar with what the CRO is, it's very important at a bank. It is the investment bank. It is a Chief Risk Officer, and especially with a bank that's doing derivatives and other trades. Or if the rumors are true, if they let the People's Bank of China or the Chinese government borrow massively from them. For Asia, all sacked, retiring for personal reasons in the same week. So just crazy stuff. Meanwhile, HSBC posted record profits. And you guys know I've talked about HSBC in the past. Huawei. I've talked about HSBC in the past. If you're not familiar with this bank's shady history, I highly recommend going to Netflix and looking up. There's a whole episode. There's a Dirty Money documentary series on Netflix. You can just search Dirty Money, and there's an entire episode of about an hour on HSBC Bank and all their dirty dealings, how they knowingly laundered for many billions of dollars in profits, knowingly laundered money for drug cartels, organized crime, terrorist groups, and interviewing the whistleblowers who reported it. And the federal government did not put criminal charges because you had the normal white shoe corrupt people, corrupt lawyers from Wall Street and DC, the Loretta Lynch's, the Eric Holders, and then James Comey was hired as a fixer after he was a U.S. attorney, and then he was added to the HSBC board of directors and paid many millions of dollars to help make sure, and with stock options and other stuff, to help make sure that HSBC executives did not get criminal charges. So HSBC, there's two competing theories right now, whether the Chinese government will drop the hammer on them for their role in reporting Huawei, the chief financial officer, and the problems there. That's one theory. And the other theory is what Kyle Bass. And Kyle Bass has been tweeting out a lot about this. He is adamant that he's gotten his sources confirmed and this is true. We'll have to wait for other confirmations. I'm trying to get more journalists to look at this, to run this down and look and see if they can find sources from either the Bank of England or HSBC Bank. I believe that this guy, let me look up his name, Christopher Balding. I believe Christopher Balding also heard the same rumors about the enormous loan that the People's Bank of China in dollars may have taken from HSBC recently to when the RMB was at 7 to try to stop the RMB from massively devaluing even faster. So just a bunch of craziness. Meanwhile, HSBC is rolling for now, but, with all this smoke, guys, with all this smoke, I think there could be some fire. I don't know which theory is true. Maybe both of them are true in some weird way. No, I'm not excited over China Bank weakness. I'm reporting this because I'm getting a lot of tips in Super Chat. People who want to hear the news, because the mainstream media won't touch this. The mainstream media won't touch any of this stuff. Mainstream media won't touch it. Mainstream media won't investigate the rumors. of the People's Bank of China, the central bank, potentially borrowing from the Bank of England. So I'm doing the coverage that the mainstream financial media and mainstream media should be doing. I'm not rooting for a bank that large to fail, guys. If a bank that large fails, the repercussions, the chain reaction, the dominoes, it's bad. I'm just trying to get you guys the best information possible. But we're living a hella crazy right now. So I do this for my Patreon account contributors. I have over 80 now, so thank you very much to everyone. I'm not going to spend 5 minutes reading off people's names. My buddy Christopher Irons likes to do that. I don't like to do that. So I'll just thank everyone who is a Patreon account contributor. Now, all 80 of you, and there's about a half dozen PayPal contributors. And I know some of you can't commit to that every single month, but you send tips once in a while. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I think where there is smoke, there is fire. One of these rumors may play out over the next couple months, maybe both. And, HSBC Bank has reported profits. So very, very interesting. Well, and I will keep updates on this. I will keep tabs. If you are not already following Kyle Bass on Twitter, it's the letter J, his J, and then Kyle Bass. So his Twitter is very, very spicy. I would recommend following him on Twitter for updates on this, and we'll see what happens going forward. But, maybe both of these rumors will end up being true in some weird, twisted way, because we are in bizarro world. We are in like the twilight zone. We are up, left is right, up is down, inside is out, that type of world we're in, a dystopian world. Maybe both of these things can be true at the same time. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, guys, I will talk to you later. Thank you for the super chat of $5, Blue Steel, and Kevin K. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go relax now. I just got back from the gym. Everyone take care.